Ah, Charleston, the holy city, the land of cobblestone streets, world-class food, and more history than your high school textbook could ever fit. But here's the real question. If you're moving here, where the heck do you live? Where do we live? I no idea. Where's the best place to live? I was asking you guys this question. Do you guys know? No? Okay. Well, I'll fill you in. No worries. Luckily for you, I happen to know a thing or two around here. So, do you go full Southern charm and live downtown, or do you opt for a beach bum life? That's the real question. Or do you just give up and move to Somerville where you get more house for your money, right? You know, like what do you think? I mean, I'd probably vote Mount Pleasant, but that's just me. All right, today I'm breaking down the top 5 neighborhoods in Charleston, South Carolina, where you actually want to live in 2025. And don't worry, I'll keep it real. You know me, I don't like to add fluff to anything. I like to cut out all the bullshit.
Keep it real.
Because no one wants to move here and buy in a place to only find out their neighborhood plays the banjo at 2 a.m. That's a lot of fun.
You know what? That's private.
All right, neighborhood number 1, Mount Pleasant, baby. Chicka chicka, yeah. And if you move here, congratulations, you've officially made it. You're in the land of luxury SUVs, top-rated schools, and grocery stores where a single avocado might cost you your mortgage payment. True fact. Why people love Mount Pleasant? Well, let's run down the list. 1, it's close to everything. I mean, talk about convenience. You're close to downtown Charleston, 15 minutes. Beaches, 5 to 10 minutes, depending on where you live. Your nearest Starbucks, hell, you could probably walk to it. In schools, it's top notch. I mean, if you've got kids, mwah. The schools here are some of the best in the state. And if you don't have kids, congrats, because you're paying those school taxes.
The business expenses, relax.
Business expenses?
Yeah.
Home prices are around $700K. Gets you something nice, right? Gets you in the door, gets you that feel. You're in Mount Pleasant, you're good. Over $1 million if you want that true Mount P lifestyle, and you know what I'm talking about. If you can afford it, Mount Pleasant is an absolute win. But if you want more space and don't mind a little bit of an extra drive, let's talk about James Island. Funny story about Mount Pleasant. My wife and I actually have a friend that lives there, and they live in a neighborhood. And he's like, hey, it's gated, so when you come to the gate, just, ring the thing or text me and I'll buzz you in. We were like, okay, cool, that's awesome. Guys, it took us 30 minutes to get from the front of the neighborhood to the first gate, okay? And then he buzzed us in, and it was another 5-minute drive over another bridge to another gate that then led us on to his neighborhood section. And I'll tell you what, I was like, you do this every day? Yeah? Okay, cool. Go. You going out? You gonna go out for war after this? I mean, like, it was crazy. It was like he was living on a compound. It was the craziest thing. But that's Mount Pleasant. So when you want to talk about, people always say to me, is it safe? Is it secure? Like, yeah, it's safe and secure. My buddy's got 2 gates on his house, on his property. So, All right, neighborhood number 2, James Island, where laid back meets convenience. Who doesn't love a good convenient? James Island is for people who want to be close to the city, but also want to pretend like they live at the beach and are like an Outer Bankser, right? It's got this laid back feeling. I mean, I wear flip-flops everywhere energy. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of feeling you get. But you can also still get to downtown Charleston in just 10 minutes. So why is James Island such a great spot? Well, let's talk about it. So beach access, you're right next to Folly Beach, which means you can surf, fish, and just aggressively tan whenever you want. Don't get too tan. You don't want to look like a lobster, like me. But more affordable options than Mount Pleasant. So one of the big things that I hear a lot of, especially families, is that Mount Pleasant isn't affordable if you need a 5 or 6 bedroom house. You're looking at $1.5 to $2 million. So in comparison, when you can get something in James Island that's $500,000 to $800,000, and heck, if you need a 5 or 6 bedroom house, you might be $800,000 to $1 million. But heck, you're still in the range. But act fast, folks. Prices here, are starting to climb. So just recently, I visited a neighborhood called Riverbend in James Island, and I gotta tell you, they are locking up lots there left and right, and the house prices are over $1 million, and the HOAs are about $1,900 a year. So that does include a deep water dock. So when you start thinking about these things, James Island, yes, is definitely still affordable in comparison to places like Mount Pleasant. But if you're comparing prices to Somerville, Ladson, Goose Creek, areas like that, totally different lifestyles, totally different areas. I tell people I really wouldn't even consider one area over another as being comparable because they're just not. You're not 10 minutes from a beach if you live in Somerville, right? So James Island just has that niche that a lot of people are looking for. Now, you heard me talk about HOA, correct? Well, a lot of James Island doesn't have a strict HOA, believe it or not, which means, yes, you can finally get that boat you want and park it right in your yard. Here's the other piece of advice that I tell a lot of people. Even if you choose a neighborhood that has a strict HOA, it doesn't mean that the outside area or the drive into the neighborhood is gonna be any better, you know? So a lot of people will say, well, Ryan, I don't wanna live next to somebody who's got about 3 or 4 boats in their front yard. Okay, I get it. So if you live in a community where they do have an HOA, what about the drive into that community? What's that look like? Because if that's in James Island, you're gonna see some historic stuff. Now, if you want a little bit more space, beach access, and a 10-minute drive to downtown, James Island is just gonna be calling your name. And again, the food, the shopping there is fantastic. You have new grocery stores, new shopping, new restaurants. I mean, James Island is bustling. And then again, with being so close to Folly Beach is bustling. So, you have really 2 fantastic areas there on top of being only 15 minutes to downtown Charleston. And I'm actually looking forward to when they open the pedestrian bridge. They finally have started working on that. But the really, really nice part about this community commuter cross bridge is just that you can be able to ride a bike, walk across. It's gonna have areas where you're gonna be able to view different things, look at the water. I hope there's gonna be some sort of fishing opportunity. That would be really great, but I know that they got boats and stuff like that that are gonna be going underneath. So again, it might be similar to the Memorial Park in Mount Pleasant, but we'll have to wait and see. But it's pretty exciting. But here's the best part, is that crossway goes right into the heart of West Ashley. And that happens to be our neighborhood number 3 on my list. Yes, the best bang for your buck spot, West Ashley. Now, West Ashley is where you go when you want to be close to downtown without spending downtown money. It's like Mount Pleasant's chill, less expensive cousin, the one that comes to Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving and tries to get everybody to go outside and tells everybody he's just been outside, burning sage. That cousin, yep.
You think you're too cool for school.
Why people are moving here, affordability. Let me talk to you about this. You can still find homes in West Ashley in the high 400s and low 500s range, which in Charleston is basically a steal because location, location, location. Any realtor will tell you. 10 to 15 minutes to downtown plus an easy access to beaches and major highways. That's a no-brainer, folks. Like, just chalk it up. High five, game over. All right, all kidding aside though, more space. So if you're tired of these tiny downtown homes with no backyard, because everybody always says, like, Ryan, these downtown houses, they're like this far from each other. How does anybody have a backyard? They really don't. And if you do, it's a luxury. So again, if you're tired of those small backyards, West Ashley actually gives you room to breathe. Some of the average lot sizes in there can be between 0.20 and 0.45. Yeah, big lots too, over 1/4 of an acre. So West Ashley is for the people who want that convenience of getting downtown. Maybe you work downtown MUSC, but without going completely broke, right? But if you really want that Charleston charm, there's nothing else like the historic district. So let's head there next. All right, neighborhood number 4, downtown Charleston. Yes, the I live in a postcard experience, folks. Oh, this is like, imagine going to Paris and living in Paris, and that just is what you experience every day, right? That's how I would envision it feels to live in downtown Charleston. And it just, I mean, listen, it's 40 minutes away from my house. We go down there every so often, do Second Sunday on King or something like that. It's beautiful. It's nice. Great experience. But here's the thing. Would you want to live down there? It's always like a tourism vibe, but again, it's got different vibes for different people. So if it's really the experience and the charm that you're looking for, then downtown is definitely going to fit the bill. So I always say to people, if you want to live in the heart of Charleston where every building looks like it belongs in a history tour, this is going to be it. I mean, the historic district is where you get cobblestone streets, rainbow colored houses, and the daily reality of tourists taking selfies in front of your home. Let's be honest. What makes it special is you're just in the action. So that's one of the things that, you know, people who have been relocating here from New York, San Francisco, Utah, Nevada, they all say to me, they're like, Ryan, where's the restaurants? Where's the bars? Where's the cool stuff to do? Where can I go outside? Where can I go read a book in a park? Like, give it to me. Where's the action? That's what I want. And so it's right outside your door in downtown Charleston. And I mean, if you talk in walkability, who needs a freaking car when you live downtown? You got groceries down there. You got everything you need. You don't really need to leave. So you can walk or bike anywhere, and the vibe is just unmatched. Living downtown means you're surrounded by charm 24/7. Also ghosts, but mostly charm, but also ghosts. No joke. Pricey, $1 million plus for anything in a livable condition. And I say livable because some of these houses aren't up to most people's standards. And so they look at it and they go, $1 million for this? Yeah, that's the going price. So parking, absolute nightmare. Hope you like circling the block 15 times before finding a spot. Oh, let's not forget, downtown Charleston is amazing, okay, folks? I'm not knocking it by any means. If you can afford it and don't mind never having a parking spot, this is the place. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, everybody. Oh, I still have another neighborhood? Okay, cool.
I've never been on live television before.
Neighborhood number 5, Johns Island. This is the escape from the hustle spot. This is like, listen, I say this all the time, and my wife's probably tired of hearing me say this, but like Johns Island just reminds me, I grew up on a farm. We had 45 acres of Christmas trees my family used to harvest and we would sell. And I remember the days of riding four-wheelers through there and just so much foliage and woods. And when I'm in Johns Island, that's the same feeling I get, just with the beautiful oak trees, with the Spanish hanging moss. Like, it is beautiful. And honestly, if you're someone that's looking for that same kind of charm or that little bit of space in between the houses, maybe you don't have 40-something acres, maybe you have 2 acres, maybe you have 1.5 acres, whatever it is, you're gonna have a little bit more space and a little bit more elbow room, and most importantly, privacy, than you would if you were buying in West Ashley or downtown, okay? And that's something to be said. That's a huge, that's a check of the box for Johns Island, especially for me. But there's a reason why I wouldn't actually move to Johns Island, and I'll tell you at the end here. But let's get back to focusing on Johns Island. So Johns Island is what happens when people visit Charleston and say, I love it here, but can we get more space? Because these houses are pretty friggin' tight. This place has a country meets coastal feel. That's the part, it's like the perfect description. Country meets coastal feel. And it's growing fast though. So what's to love? Well, it's peaceful, less traffic, bigger lots, and a slower pace of life. Not to mention, it's great for nature lovers. Tons of oak trees, marsh views, and outdoor activities. This is the thing I love about Johns Island. There's so many public boat launches. If you want to own a boat, the opportunity is there. You can launch it. You can go, there's so many places to go for fishing. There's seafood restaurants nearby. Post Tavern. I mean, guys, there's so many great things to love about Johns Island. So The other thing you might love is the home prices. So between 500 and 900,000, depending on how much land you want. Now, if you love Charleston, but you want a little breathing room, Johns Island is just gonna be the perfect spot, especially if you like taking your dog to the beach. You might be saying, well, Ryan, what are you talking about? Well, Kiowa Island has Beach Walker Beach in State Park, which is a part of the Charleston County Parks system. But Beach Walker, you actually can take your dog on the beach, unlike some other beaches that have restrictions from having dogs on or off leashes. So a lot of people like Beach Walker because of that. And I'll also say this, it's a lot less crowded than the other beaches closer to Charleston, just because you're taking that little bit of extra drive a little bit further down Johns Island into Kiowa. Now, you might have been waiting for me to tell you, Ryan, why is it that you wouldn't move to Johns? If you love Johns Island so much, Ryan, why isn't that you would move there? Well, as most people would, I have kids and I have to consider schools. And unless I want to put my kids into private school, in my opinion, the schools aren't where I need them to be, or at least where their current school system places. So their current school system shows a lot better than the current school system in Johns Island. So that's a big effect. And I have personal friends who live in Johns Island who have their kids in private. And then that's an additional cost. So again, something that just for right now wouldn't be an ideal fit for my family, but who knows? One day you might see me in Johns Island. You just never know.
I am very, very sneaky, sir.
Now, let's talk about one other area that I kind of left off the list. I know I told you I was going to give you guys just 5, but I am going to give you a 6th neighborhood.
Right, double prizes!
Or a 6th area that I think you should also consider, and that is Hughie. Yeah. So let me go ahead and spell that for you. It's H-U-G-E-R. No. You heard that right. H-U-G-E-R. Not Huger, not Huga. It's Hughie or Hugger or Higger. None of that, okay?
I'm just a little confused here.
And so that is an area that you are going to be seeing that's going to be up and coming along with the Wando area. If you're somebody that is really looking to get closer to Charleston, I would consider these places, especially if your budget's in the 5s, 6s, and even 7s. You're going to be just 20 minutes to Mount Pleasant. You're going to be I'd say closer to 20 to 30 minutes to downtown Charleston. But again, this is going to be an area where you'll be able to find houses on a little bit more land, not a ton, but a little bit more. And then one other area that I think you should look at if you're considering, and I think this would be a great area in the coming year as the builders start to develop, is Point Hope. And that is also in Charleston. It's kind of closer to the Daniel Island area. So if you're someone that's like, hey, I really like Daniel Island, then I would certainly look at Point Hope. They have the Philip Simmons schools over there. That's the elementary, the middle, and the high. Fantastic. I have a lot of people who want to buy in that school zone because of that. So there's a lot of people who even from Mount Pleasant will have their kids go there. Wando Village is over there. So that area, that Point Hope area is really growing. And I think that's going to be like a Cane Bay, but closer to Charleston. And that's gonna be an exciting neighborhood to keep my eyes on the next coming years, because they've already got their shops, they've got their stores, they got their grocery store, they've got their pizza place, they've got their car wash, like everything is already there, and it's also starting to really grow and develop. So Point Hope in the Charleston, Daniel Island area, those would be some other communities and areas I would also consider, because if you're moving here, the one thing you don't want to do is pigeonhole yourself to one area and then put blinders on and not pay attention to maybe something that might actually be a product you like better. And that's where I help a lot of people. When people call me, I just open their eyes up to other options, because so many times when we're looking online, especially with today, the way algorithms work, we're tunnel vision. It's the algorithm says, look at this, you like that neighborhood? Okay, you clicked on that content, now look at this. What I do is I take all that away and I give you out all of your options, but based upon what you tell me. I kind of file all that information down, figure out what's going to be the best bet for you and your family, and help you. So guys, there you have it. Some amazing places to live in Charleston, South Carolina. Where would you move? Do me a favor, drop a comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Otherwise, I'm gonna send the HOA committee to your house. I'm just kidding. No, not really. I'll send them to your house. I'll tell them where you live. Once again, guys, if you love this video, do me a favor and click this one right here. Keep watching.